Hey guys, my name is Hotted and I'm multi-rank 1 Druid and I've been at the top of the ladder for quite a while. I am known for playing a lot of classes at a high level and I hope that you guys will enjoy this new video series here at the Razer Academy that will help you out in understanding arenas better, video after video. Druids are a hybrid class that are very versatile and you can play any role that you would like. There's the Restoration tree, which is a support tree and consists of healing spells, the Balance tree, which is the ranged damage dealer, the Guardian Spec to tank in PvE situations, and the Feral Combat for melee damage dealer. Now onto the Druid talent trees. The talent tree system was completely changed from Cataclysm to Mists of Pandaria. The entire reasoning behind it is to leave the cookie cutter or default specs, so to speak, behind, so you're able to customize your abilities according to each opponent that you face. They give a lot of mobility, damage increase spells, and a lot of other things that can greatly affect the outcome of a fight. Let's start explaining the talent trees on each of the rows, shall we? The first tier of talents offers two really good talents for PvP, Displacer Beast and Wild Charge. Displacer Beast allows you to teleport 20 yards and additionally gives you a stealth. Any damage over time spells will break the stealth, but it's an amazing talent if you know that you're going to be the main target of choice for the enemy team. It's on a 30-second cooldown, so it's very likely that you will get to use it every time that the other enemy team wants to swap to you and try to kill you. Wild Charge is the other good option. Its function varies depending on what form you are when it's used. In Travel form, it lets you leap 20 yards forward. In Cat form, it lets you leap behind the enemy and daze them for 4 seconds. In Moonkin form, you jump backwards, similar to a Hunter's Disengage. And in Bear form, you charge at the target and immobilize them for 4 seconds. The second tier is a pretty obvious choice on what you will pick. Nature's Swiftness is too good to pass up as any spec. It's now on a 1 minute cooldown and it lets you use the following spells instantly: Cyclone, Entangling Roots, Healing Touch, Hibernate, Nourish, Rebirth, and Regrowth. The talent does say that the effects will be increased by 50%, but they don't affect the crowd control forms since they're all normalized on a standard timer for arenas, or else it would be extremely overpowered. The third tier brings you interesting choices, but two stand out for me: Fairy Swarm and Typhoon. Fairy Swarm is an improved form of Fairy Fire that, in addition to the Fairy Fire effects, that lets you slow down the target by 50%. A ranged slowing effect with no cooldown can be extremely useful on some occasions. The other awesome talent is Typhoon. Typhoon is on a 20-second cooldown that knocks enemies back for 30 yards and it dazes them for 6 seconds. This spell can be very important on maps that have more than one level, such as Blade's Edge Arena, Talon Arena, and Ring of Valor if you stand on one of the pillars when it goes up. The following tier brings you a choice that stands out, which is Incarnation. What this talent does is essentially boost your abilities on any spec that you are currently on. For balance, it increases your damage spells by 25% while in an eclipse state. As Feral, it lets you use the abilities that you can only use while stealthed, even if you are not stealthed. This is a huge deal for Feral, since abilities like Ravage hit extremely hard, so it's an awesome damage boost. And lastly, for Tree form, it increases your healing down by 15%, increases your armor by 120%, and all your casted healing spells become instant. The next tier is what I call the crowd control tree. You get 3 different choices: Disorienting Roar, Ursul's Vortex, and Mighty Bash. All these 3 forms of crowd control are very interesting and provide good amounts of control. However, I believe that Ursul's Vortex will stand out for balanced Druids, while the other 2 will be more appropriate for Restoration and Feral. Ursul's Vortex creates a tornado that pulls back the first enemy that attempts to leave the area. It lasts for 10 seconds, so it can be combined with other abilities such as Solar Beam to keep the target silenced for long periods of time, but we will touch the cool tricks that you can do for any other spec in a future video. And finally, we arrive on the last tier. Nature's Vigil should be the talent to pick when the expansion comes out, since it's another damage and healing cooldown. All your damage and healing spells are increased by 20%, and additionally 25% of all the healing or damage done will heal your nearest member of your team. This is a really good mechanic because if you want to stay offensive and your healer is incapacitated, you can provide enough healing to stay offensive with your current damage. Now that we got the talents out of the way, let me talk to you about the new awesome spell that we get at level 87, which is Symbiosis. This ability lets you copy a spell of your party member and lets you use it for your own. This is honestly a game-breaking spell for Druids, since some of the spells that you can copy are truly amazing. Here's a list of all the spells that you can copy, but I will give you a top 3 Symbiosis targets of choice for Restoration, Balance, and Feral. Let's start with the Restoration tree. Frost Mage. By using the ability on a mage, you get the Ice Block. Having the ability to be immune to damage for 10 seconds, in addition to all the cooldowns that we have, is simply too good. Besides, you can also use the Ice Block as an extra trinket if an enemy crowd controls you, or you're stuck in a stun while your trinket is on cooldown. The next class is Warlocks. If you use Symbiosis on a Warlock, you get the almighty Teleport. Having a Teleport as a Restoration Druid allows you to overextend and get into difficult situations, and just teleport away. Imagine having all the mobility on your own with the talents that we got, and then receive an extra teleport. It's pretty amazing if you ask me. Remember that when you use teleport, you will appear where your warlock friend laid his teleport down, so keep that in mind before you use it. And at last, Hunters. Hunters give you their deterrence. It's a really good ability that lets you deflect any abilities done to you during the duration of the deterrence. A thing to keep in mind is that you can't cast any spells while you're in a deterrence, so you will need to cancel the deterrence key or a macro to get out of it and keep healing, or doing any other abilities. Now let's move on to the top 3 balance spells. Rogues will grant you Cloak of Shadows. It's on a 2-minute cooldown and lets you be immune to magic spells for 5 seconds. It's a really good defensive as well as offensive cooldown if you don't want to be silenced or crowd controlled by magic spells during your burst. Warlocks as a balance druid will grant you 50% damage reduction cooldown, and you will be able to immune interrupts for 12 seconds. This is probably the best spell to take as a balance druid, because getting a 12-second interruption immunity can determine whether you win a match, or you can also use it for defensive purposes and just use the shield wall while you're getting attacked, and you can also heal yourself at that exact moment knowing that you won't get interrupted. And at last, we have Priests. Priests give you massive spell. Now that the spells have a cooldown, which is 8 seconds, you can help your partner with extra dispels to get rid of enemies' immunities, such as Ice Block or Pally Bubble. As far as feral abilities go, I would suggest getting an extra defensive cooldown, which you can get easily from a Paladin, a Priest, and you can get even an offensive cooldown if you decide not to play with one of those. But I would definitely decide getting a defensive cooldown such as Paladin Bubble, which you can get by obviously casting Symbiosis on the Paladin, or you can get the Dispersion by casting Symbiosis on the Priest. Thanks a lot for watching my first episode of World of Warcraft tutorials here at the Razer Academy, and I'll see you guys next time.